In this episode, we will explore the misunderstanding that there are orderly and predictable stages of grief. You may remember Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is famously known for her work on stages of death and dying. Unfortunately, this part of her well-considered and meaningful contributions to the science around death and grief has been misunderstood and sometimes misapplied. In this episode, we will tackle the topic of stages of grief and the myth that grieving is experienced in stages that are inescapable, orderly, and predictable. First, a brief explanation of the stages of grief that are often referred to. The development of stages was not intended for application to people grieving the loss of a loved one. Rather, the stages were part of a study of common experiences of people grappling with the prognosis of their own impending death. For reference sake, the stages referred to here are denial, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. Now, those of us who have been through a grief journey previously will likely recognize that some of these stages may line up with our personal grieving experience. In fact, we might relate to all 5 stages listed here at some point through our grief experience. So, what is the point I'm trying to make here? Well, a problem may come up if we, as the griever, think any of the following to be true. So listen to these. All these stages must apply to me in my grief journey. I must go through all these stages to properly grieve. The stages are in a particular order I must follow, or I risk not healing. And once I have passed one step, I will not need to experience the related feelings again of that step. Now, these thoughts may create some confusion and distraction in you as you experience the natural and unpredictable process of grieving. In truth, these stages may or may not relate to your grief journey, but they are not a list to be checked off, nor are they a specific series of steps to take. Grievers generally report a largely unordered progression of experiences in their grief journey. Typically, they are more disoriented early on, and typically they are consciously making better, healthy choices in what we'll call the living forward time of your grief journey. Living forward referring to a series of healthy choices grievers make as they gradually readjust to a life without their loved one. This is a fairly simple episode, so I'm going to wrap it up right now. Points I'd like you to remember, though, are the following. Grieving a loss is different than anticipating your or a loved one's death. There are no orderly or predictable stages of grieving. Grievers don't have a checkoff list of steps to take after which they are healed. If you remember that, then I'd like you to take this stepping stone exercise. These questions. Ask yourself, first, do I have a preconceived notion about what grieving should look like for me? Second, am I hoping to grieve as quickly, orderly, and efficiently as possible? And third, do I worry that I'm grieving the wrong way? Well, friend, if your answer to any of these questions is yes, you may be applying expectations, now listen to this part, to an unpredictable process. And expectations of a certain progression of grieving, orderly steps of healing, or timing of the healing are likely to get in the way of a process that cannot be contrived or forced. Now, the reflection I would like to share with you today I wrote for this episode. Grieving is a natural process and part of our life. It is organic, predictable, and always unique. Grief is best pictured as a living, breathing experience or journey without a finish line or a checkoff list of prescribed steps. Well, that is it for today. Remember that about the steps, and I will look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Be well.